Salutations, ladies and gentlemen, the Streaming Enderman here, back again with another video. And in today's video, I'll be taking a look at the Arthur Wright & Son Senator. Now, to confirm, this was sent to me by the famous Sheffield shop. Great business. Please check them out. I think that they're probably the best dealer for Sheffield knives you can possibly get. Amazing customer service. Please go check them out. In the meantime, this is a semi-custom knife, and that's because this is the Senator, which is normally made with a lambfoot blade. However, this one is made with a Wharncliffe, or their tackler blade, as they call it. Now, this isn't a one-off piece. There are a couple others, I believe, in existence. There is one on the YouTube channel, I think, Fading Martins? I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing your name wrong. I'm just going off of my memory, which isn't always that good. But he has one of this exact model, Rosewood, with a tackler blade. And apparently someone in my comments actually also ordered this exact knife before this video is even up, so that's kind of interesting. So this isn't a one-of-a-kind knife, but it's still considered a custom because they don't make these as in a usual production model. For example, the Ettrick or the Barlow. Now, let's go over the specs of this knife. It's under 6 inches open. The blade is UK legal. It's non-locking. It's a slip joint. Nickel silver bolsters, brass pins, liners, and a steel spring. We have a C70 carbon steel Wharncliffe blade with a very pronounced nail nick, although, of course, you can pinch it open just as easy. The stamping could be a little bit better. As you can see, it says a Wright & Son Limited Sheffield, and then England is cut off, unfortunately, which is an ongoing trend I've noticed with some Sheffield knives. Rosewood covers on the handle. Very nice grain pattern throughout. Don't know if you can pick that up, but there's a very nice grain pattern there. No gapping on this whatsoever, which is very nice. No blade wobble. There's a tiny little bit of movement in there, but I think that's just me being picky. You can't notice it. It's not going to affect the function of the knife. Nice sharpening choil. This didn't come sharp at all. No Arthur Wright knife seems to come sharp. I don't know why. Ashley and Michael Harrison, if you're watching this, please sharpen your knives more. I think that would make them a lot better. They'd be presented better if they were sharp when they first arrived. Because this is not a sharp blade at all, unfortunately. But aside from that, of course, you can always just sharpen them. It's not a huge deal, but a knife should always come sharp. I like the kind of equal end penknife feel that this has. There's a bit of a swoop in the center. You can sort of see this isn't a perfectly straight line. There's a bit of an upsweep, if that makes any sense. Don't know if you can see that, but you can see on either side it kind of angles up just a tad, which is interesting by all means. Kind of like the design. It reminds me of and I think this was perhaps the intention. Now, the name Senator, it's similar in its shape, the handle, to a Congress pattern pocket knife. Now, Congress knives are often 4-blade knives with 2 pen blades and 2 sheepfoots. And you'd have 2 on either side on the bolsters. And it was considered like an equal end pen style. But this has that same kind of upswept, or should I say, well, depends on which way you're holding it, but when when you have it open, you can see it kind of dips down in the center, and it is a bit more pronounced in the bolster area, if that makes any sense. My description is probably making it even harder for you to see, but you can just look at it and you can probably tell what I mean. There's a bit of a dip in the center, and that is very traditional with a Congress knife. So because of that, I was thinking with the name, the Senator, the Congress, and a similar handle shape, I wondered if perhaps this knife was a modified Congress, or the Congress was a modification of this pattern. So let me know if you have any information about that, but I'm very curious to hear about it. In the meantime, the pull weight on this is probably about a 6-ish. Not too strong, but not too weak. There's definitely some spring retention here. Don't have to worry about this closing on me. And you can actually push it to about here before you have to worry about it not popping back up. Because even if you push it here, it's going to keep popping back up. But you have to push it to about there before the spring won't hold it back, if that makes any sense. But overall, just a very neat little knife. I like the Wharncliffe. I think it suits this style, and I really like this handle shape. And the Rosewood is very nice by all means. They do make these knives in Rosewood. The basic Senator is this exact knife, just with a lamb foot. They also make them in Stag, and you can order some fancier ones with snakewood, maybe even ironwood, I believe. And those ones, aside from having mirror polishes on the blades, also feature mirror polished back springs with file work. So here's for a quick comparison. If you own a Taylor's Eyewitness Barlow, you can kind of see the size difference here. This is a Premier Collection Ironwood Barlow by Wright, and you can see that they aren't that far off in size. The Barlow's a bit chunkier overall. And of course this one has the plain back spring, while this one has the filework back spring. But again, two great knives from Sheffield in my opinion. So my final thoughts on this knife. I really like it. Again, there are some little tiny things that could be better, you know, if they came sharper, and if you could see the tang stamp easier. These things would help, by all means, but the transitions are relatively smooth. There's no gapping, really. The blade is secure and sturdy. The grind isn't bad. I mean, it's a pretty straight grind. And the scales just, well, the handles, they just look nice overall. I really like the look of this Rosewood. And for a slightly cheaper wood, as opposed to something really high up there in price, like burl wood or desert ironwood, like this knife right here, I think that it works well. And this shouldn't be too expensive. I believe they're under 50 Canadian. Don't quote me on that, but they're easily under 100. So these are, by all means, pretty budget knives, and yet their quality is quite consistent and actually pretty good. So yeah, if you want this exact knife, just shoot them an email over at either the famous Sheffield shop or straight directly to Arthur Wright, and you can order one of these. I've seen a couple people do it, and yeah, I got this one it was actually an accident that I got this one. Maybe I'll tell that story later, but it's a long story. But in the meantime, yeah, you can ask for these if you want. You don't expect it to be a quick wait time. It might take quite a while, but eventually you will receive your knife. And of course, if you want, you can always get a fancier one with the snakewood and maybe the file work. But again, very nice knife. I'm pleased with it. Let me know what you think of this knife in the comments down below. Like the video, subscribe if you enjoyed. Tap the bell so you won't miss a new video. I'm going to hopefully get back to a bit more of a regular uploading schedule with any luck. But aside from that, thank you very much for watching. This has been the Arthur Wright & Son Custom Warncliffe Senator, and this is the Streaming Enderman. As always, signing off. Goodbye.